of practice for quite some time, including yesterday. His head coach, Sean McVay, says that the plan is still to take this one day at a time, with the 37-year-old quarterback waiting to return to action.
You know, like we've said, we're going to be flexible and fluid. I think more than anything, I feel for Matthew because of how much he wants to be out there and feel good. Ultimately, what ended up happening, had a great workout, felt good, but then, come in today and it doesn't feel great. And so didn't think that was the right decision to be able to push him. We've kind of always talked about flexibility, being fluid with some of the plans. And I think more than anything, I feel for a guy that, I really care about, that wants to be out there more than anything else. We're going to be smart, but he didn't feel good enough, and we didn't think it was the right thing to do based on, how he woke up feeling today.
And you can see that care from head coach to quarterback. It's a relationship we've seen unfold in L.A. for quite some time, and it's amassed an amazing amount of success. Now, Sean McVay is making a decision based on how his quarterback feels, but this is what we feel about the NFC West at this point. Kyle, on a scale of 1 to 9, because of the Stafford 9, how confident are you in the Stafford Rams experience repeating as NFC West champions?
6?
5,
maybe.
Okay.
I don't like what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I don't like this. Listen. Here's the deal with the Matthew Stafford back. It's not that early anymore. So when this whole thing started, you can go back a few weeks. And personally, for me, there was an Adam Schefter tweet, and he said that Rams are going to limit Matthew Stafford's practice time due to back soreness. That was July 22nd. The tweet that cracked me up was our guy Fitzmagic retweets that, and Fitzmagic, the classic crusty old veteran in his day, bring up the tweet. Ryan Fitzpatrick tweets in response to Adam Schefter, "Oh, such an old man, crusty vet move," talking about Stafford missing time with camp. "We know he'll be ready when the lights turn on." I thought that was funny. It's just like, oh, my back is sore. I got to miss a week or two of July. Who cares? I'm Stafford. Well, that was July 22nd. It's now August 12th. I don't like this. I don't like a back. I don't like words like flare up, fluid, flexibility. I am now at a point where a quarterback of this age, who was very close to leaving the Rams, very close, and they were able to bring him back, is now starting over. There's a new wide receiver there, and Devontae. It's just I look at the calendar and I look at those words about a veteran quarterback, and it makes me nervous. Now, they got a backup and Jimmy G, but if we're going to Jimmy G stuff, then all hell is broken loose. I always like the Rams to go to the playoffs. I would pick them to win the West. My point is, right now, I think the Matthew Stafford back thing had my curiosity. Now it has my attention, and I don't like it.
I was worried for a second. I was worried that Kyle was going to go 6, 7.
Oh.
No, but he went 6, 5. He's trending the other direction.
I don't want to hear about fluid.
Kyle's fluid between 7, 6, 5. Go ahead, DeMarco.
Kyle's right. It's not nothing to have your starter out for this long. Could be a problem. And I hope that this back injury or issue doesn't rob Matthew Stafford of what makes him special. The guy's got world-class arm talent. He protects himself very well with a quick release. He can throw on the move. He can throw on platform, from any platform, off platform. He's just one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. But, backs are tricky. You don't know how he's going to respond. So this is going to be touch and go. But I will say this about Jimmy G. They feel confident about Jimmy Garoppolo as their starter. He could have gone other places to compete for a starting job, chose to stay here. He's really, really ingrained in the offense. They trust him. So if Matthew Stafford is out for any period of time, they feel like the offense can just keep going until he's back. But you'd want Matthew Stafford out there. But I agree with Kyle. This is not nothing. This is it could be a big deal. You'd rather have your guy taking snaps.
On the scale of 1 to 9, I want everyone to understand, though, the weight that DeMarco Farr speaks with when it comes to the Rams, because let's remind everyone else in the 29 other markets besides L.A., DeMarco, you are on the radio broadcast for the team. You are around that building all the time. So when you say they, you literally mean you are around the coaches and you have a great feel. The rest of us just talk about the situation, but you're around it.
Yeah, coaches, trainers, and him. So, you ask Matthew, how do you feel? I feel great. And when you're talking to a dude, and when you ask him, how do you feel? I feel great. And it's either you're lying or you're not. So he does. He wants to practice.
Yeah.
Everything Coach McVay said is exactly true about Matthew Stafford. He wants to be out there. But wasn't that equally as terrifying to see a head coach with sweat rings? Wasn't that scary to see? Like, this dude is more intense than the players. But you want Matthew Stafford as your starter. Just it's going to take a little bit of time to get him out there.
Yeah, DeMarco, you reminded me of when my dad used to ask you, how was school? It was good. Like, it was kind of like that general response that you get. Now, on a scale from 1 to 9, how confident am I that they will repeat as NFC West champions? So the Rams are 3-8 when Matt Stafford hasn't been in the game. So on that scale, if Matt Stafford plays, I'm an 8. If he doesn't, I'm a 3. Okay, now you may be asking, why aren't you a 0 or a 1? Well, the reason why I'm not a 0 or 1 is because of Sean McVay. Sean McVay, there's so much trust I have in that man and how he's able to coach, how he's able to cultivate a winning culture, what he's been able to do for them in the amount of times that in the amount of years that he's been with the LA Rams. So that is why it's a 3. Not to mention that I think that they have one of the best rosters in not only the NFC West, but in the NFL. They have a young defensive nucleus. They have a young defensive front that is very, very good. Now, you pair that up with the offense that it had, and I said it on this show many times. The LA Rams offense is going to pose a lot of threats to a defense. A defensive coordinator that's going to go against this offense is going to stay up late at night, the night before, trying to figure out how do you stop this offense. So that is why I think that on a scale from 1 to 9, it's a 3 without Matt Stafford. It is an 8 with Matt Stafford.
Nice.
KB.
I like
that. That's clever, man. So I think the reason this is compelling is the Rams bring with them stakes. This is not most of the teams in the NFL. The expectation for this year for the Rams is to go to the Super Bowl. They were a play away from beating the Eagles, who might be the best team of this decade. They are a really, really important team. It's not some up-and-coming team. It's not the Cardinals. It's just the Rams really represent something, and Stafford is everything. I don't want to have on this show a week from now or 10 minutes from now, well, they can rally behind Jimmy G, and Jimmy G has started the Super Bowl. God bless Jimmy G. Nobody likes him more than I do. Jimmy G is not going to win the Super Bowl for them this year. I just don't think that's going to happen. They need Matthew Stafford, so I don't want to have that conversation at all. Listen, I don't even want to see Jimmy G against the Niners. It's fun. It's compelling. I feel like Robert Saleh is going to tear him to shreds. I don't want that for the Disney Prince quarterback. I want Matthew Stafford out there. And then we go back to this game. Stafford just decided we're winning this thing right now, and then he got sacked and it was over. There's not a lot of guys in the league who can do that, and there's only one on the Rams. He wears number 9, and I don't like this topic. I hope this is the last time we talk about it, but flare-ups and fluid and flexibility, the 3 Fs, and I can add another one that I don't want to say either. I want Stafford out there.
Well, I agree with you, KB, that I don't think they can win the Super Bowl, but the question is, KB, can they win the NFC West with Jimmy G? What do you think?
The West is small potatoos for the Rams. Yeah. This is a Super Bowl season. Let's go for the Super Bowl. Whole enchilada. The
so
3 and the 8
you're high on that
with
scale.
you, but West is that's a T-shirt. Who cares? McVay's got a bunch of T-shirts. He wants to go to his 3rd Super Bowl and he needs 9.
I don't know what I've said in the past, but I kind of view all those guys around the same time, whether it's Mustafa, whether it's Rourke, or whether it's Brandon. They're all at different stages, but where they're at, I always see them around week 6, which means that could be week 10, means it could be week 5, but that's the area where I start thinking about it, which is a long ways away. I know it's not week 1 or anything like that, and so it's something I'm not really thinking about too much.
In a side part of my life, I always like to read articles about the royal family and the body language experts that write about the royal family. There is nothing more jarring than watching a clip of Sean McVay speaking about his team and then Kyle Shanahan speaking about his team. The body language experts would be all over those two. But let's focus on the 49ers at hand right now. Are they the biggest challenger to the Rams in the NFC West, DeMarco?
I think so. It's hard to take them out of your review or your thought process altogether because of the history with the Rams and the Niners. And I'm not ready to write off Christian McCaffrey just yet. I know he's coming back from injury, but if that guy is healthy, he changes the entire math for everyone that has to play the San Francisco 49ers. And I don't know what all the hype was or all the negatives were on Brock Purdy. All the guy does is move the team down the field and create pressure on a defense. So, yeah, and Shanahan's offense, I just love the way he runs it. It's all precision. So whenever I do get too high about the Rams' prospects of winning this division or getting to a Super Bowl or whatever, I start thinking about San Francisco and Christian McCaffrey and what they can do to you and what they have done to the Rams over the years. So, yeah, until the Niners are out, they're still in play to win this division, in my opinion.
Yeah, Sean McVay said in that interview when he asked Matt Stafford or talked about Matt Stafford, he said he came in today and he didn't feel so well. Well, I'm the opposite when it comes to San Francisco 49ers. After this weekend, I feel really good about the San Francisco 49ers. So to answer this question, I do think they're the biggest threat to the LA Rams. And I just need to see that first preseason game. Guys, they didn't play any starters for that first preseason game against the Broncos. Yet the Broncos played all of their starters. And I don't know if you've seen that game, but the first drive, they drive down there against the starters and they score a touchdown. The second defensive series, they get a safety on Bo Nix. Like, that is the type of defense. Like, when I watched this team, right, it reminded me that Robert Saleh is back, that defense is looking like the 2017 to 2020 defense. And I think that Patrick Surtain started to feel that a little bit. I don't know if anybody caught this, Jamie, but the first 5-6 plays of the first drive, Patrick Surtain didn't have no gloves on his hands. He was playing the first drive without gloves in his hands. And then he gets to the low red, and all of a sudden, I see number 2. He has his gloves on. It's almost like Patrick Surtain, as a veteran in this game, look at that, he has his gloves on. It's the same drive, guys. Patrick Surtain, as a veteran, everybody's like, man, it's a preseason game. We're going to go and get 3 and out, and I'm done. Well, 7 plays in, Patrick Surtain is like, oh, boys,
buckle this up.
These boys is playing today. I better strap up. Coach, give me my gloves. Like, we got to really play this game. So to that point, when I saw Patrick Surtain slip them gloves on, I was like, oh, these guys are about business over there in San Francisco. So I do think that they're the biggest threat to the LA Rams.
Reigning Defensive Player of the Year is actively making the equipment manager sweat because he's scrambling to find his gloves. He's like, no, I need the Velcro. Let's go. Strap in.
Give me the glove.
They're not joking.
Yeah, Manti, elaborate on that. Are you making it akin to like a construction worker who doesn't put his helmet on because thinks it's going to be an easy day? And then
So I'm not saying that Patrick Surtain did this. I am saying from a veteran standpoint, it's the first preseason game. I know that the team that I'm playing against, they aren't playing starters. So I know if I'm playing my starters, I expect as one of the better defenses in the NFL that I'm going to get off 3 and out, and Coach Sean Payton's going to be like, oh, you're done. Take your pads off. You're fine. Yeah. I think that how it went, he was like, all right, these boys are hitting. These boys are playing. These boys are firing off the ball. Let me get my gloves on because these boys is really playing. The very next play, they score a touchdown. Like I think that's what Patrick Surtain was starting to feel like. There it goes.
Yeah.
First drive, run, bomb, touchdown. Like that's what they were doing, and I thought that it was so funny when I saw that he didn't have gloves on first. Then all of a sudden he has his gloves on. I was like, I know what went through his brain at that time.
I love that observation. It kind of feels like, if we sit down to do an E-block and like our earpiece just kind of like hanging out there. What is this segment? Oh, wait, hold on. We got to have a serious conversation. Let me plug in.
Yes,
all right. Damn, we got breaking news?
Exactly.
Okay, now I'm ready. I thought this was a preseason segment. All right, so let me put a bow on this. Obviously, the 49ers, the 2 additions you have from this year, from last year, you're getting McCaffrey back and you're getting TeSlaa back. Like, I don't even know which one's bigger. Those are huge. But 49ers and Rams have been running this thing for a while now. I'm always, when I look at the divisions, trying to look for the ascending team, the one who could potentially have next. And here's a pop quiz. What team last year had the same record as the LA Rams, the same record as the Tampa Bay Bucks, the same record as the Houston Texans over in the AFC, and what team's quarterback last year won more games than Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson? That would be the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah. We don't say their name much on this show. It's this Pacific Northwest thing, and it's kind of under the radar. Last year, the Seattle Seahawks had a new head coach, and they won double-digit games. Very, very rare. You don't see it much. The quarterback had massive success, albeit on another team. The team won 10 games, I said. It's the sleepiest 10-game win season I've seen in a long time from the 2024 Seahawks. And in the meantime, they bring in a new offensive coordinator in Clint Kubiak. They have Darnold. They're doing the Cooper Kupp thing. This team has an identity. They're going to run the hell out of the ball. They're going to play defense. And again, look at the bottom of the screen. That's pretty impressive. 10-7, and I like the additions they made. I like the draft picks they made. DK Metcalf is gone. Seattle decided we're going to move on without him. We're going to swap in Cooper and do a different type of thing with Sam Darnold. Believing in the Seahawks team is believing in Sam Darnold. But if you can do it in Minnesota, if you can do it in Seattle, and I just look at a team that might be sitting there and we're like, wow, The 12-5 Seahawks, the 11-6 Seahawks, I'm into it, and I feel like the Rams and Niners can only hold on so long. It's been a long time. Injuries creep in. Contracts get expensive. Brock Purdy, and then here comes the Seahawks. I like their shots this year.
Listen, I heard somebody was having issue with GMFB going all in on Shedeur Sanders yesterday. It's like, you could have said that to us before his week 1 preseason game, but now he's put something on tape, and now he's played enough for us to do big deal or no big deal, all right? So we're talking about that quarterback in Cleveland you just saw. Shedeur Sanders put on a show in the Browns preseason opener. But the team still has Shedeur Sanders listed, not as the starter this weekend. However, the rookie is listed 4th on the Browns' unofficial 2nd edition of their depth chart. Is this a big deal, or is this no big deal, Manti, the fact that he's still down there, but he's getting his 2nd start against the Eagles this weekend?
I think it's a big deal, Jamie. And I think it's a big deal because, now, listen, if there's a narrative that he should be the starter, like, that's false. Like, Joe Flacco deservedly has that number 1 spot, at least for now. They haven't come out and said, oh, he's our starter, but he's a starter. Now, I do think it's a big deal because based on how he performed, but also of his availability. DeMarco, you know this. It's on every wall in every locker room. Your best ability is availability. And the only quarterback besides Joe Flacco that was healthy was Shedeur Sanders. Like Kenny Pickett, he's still not practicing. And Dylan Gabriel, I think they said yesterday or today, he's supposed to do 11-on-11 drills, but he's still going to be monitored. So off of that, the only guy that was on the field, the only guy that, to Jamie's point, that has tape besides Joe Flacco in a Cleveland Browns uniform is Shedeur Sanders. So I'm not saying he should be 2. I'm not saying he should be 1, but he should at least be 3, like at least move up just a little bit, especially after how he played and the fact that he even played. So I think he should have been moved up a little, DeMarco, and at least be number 3.
Man, say, look at that picture of Shedeur in a Browns uniform. I mean, that actually looks right to me. It looks like it looks like it should be right there. It really does. But
Yeah.
I'll say this is no big deal because I'll give you, for instance, there's a kid on the Rams. He's a linebacker named Sean Dolak. All he did was make every single play in that first game versus Dallas. Now, when he shows up to work on Monday, he's still going to be the 3rd backer on that football team. So I don't think after 1 preseason performance, you get to rocket up the charts. I was shocked that he was 4th to begin with, but I don't think because you had success in 1 game when it's a vanilla defense and you can put the ball in the end zone that you just move up without the other 2 guys playing. So no shock that he kept his depth chart spot, but I was surprised he was 4th to begin with. So it's no big deal that he's still a 4th string right now.
Well, I think it's a huge deal just because, we're making segments out of it. The media is very tied to Shedeur. There's going to be people who are incredulous about this. How does he 4th? They threw 2 touchdowns. It's also a big deal because the Browns have to do what's right by them. We have to remind ourselves that, okay, so they took Shedeur in the 5th round, whatever the circumstances were. 40 picks earlier, they took Dylan Gabriel, a guy that they really liked. They drafted him in the 3rd round. 3rd-round picks are not just something you disregard. They got to see him. By the way, after Dylan Gabriel, the Browns also picked in the 4th round, and they took a running back. Like, they passed on Shedeur over and over and over. They have to see what they have in Dylan Gabriel. They like Dylan Gabriel. They love Dylan Gabriel. By the way, they also traded valuable assets to get Kenny Pickett. They just traded him away to bring him in. So I love that Shedeur threw 2 touchdowns, but it's not like, there goes all our plans. We put a lot of thought into the Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett players. At least they should have. So it's not a big deal in the sense that I think this is what they should be doing. What do we do? My question is, Dylan Gabriel comes out and throws 2 touchdowns in Lincoln Financial Field against the Eagles. Does he get anything close to the same pats on the back? No, of course not, because he's not a sensation. But then we have a real competition, and it's just they have to see what they have. Dylan Gabriel, to me, is such an interesting player, like he doesn't exist, but they took him 40 picks before the one that they won't stop talking about. You have to see what you have. I can't believe we actually have video of the guy. That's him right there, number 5, not number 12. Again, the 3rd-round pick of the Browns. They loved him. We got to see him.
Yeah, if Campbell, I will rely on more in terms of Tom Brady expertise than him analyzing somebody that does the same amount of work that he did. And so if he's saying it's Patrick Mahomes, then it's Mahomes at this point. Is it a big deal that Brady is making this comparison, this draw between the 2 of them, Brady to Mahomes, that he is the quarterback closest to him when it comes to that capacity?
Yeah, I think it's a big deal. I do. And if you haven't watched that interview, I think it's amazing. Like, Tom Brady goes throughout his career. He also talks about guys now, but then he talks about how those habits trickled into his now broadcasting career. And it helped me out a lot, especially as somebody that went from football to broadcasting myself. But I think it's a big deal because if you look at Patrick Mahomes, you look at his makeup, you look at not just his numbers, because in that interview, Tom Brady doesn't talk about any numbers. He talks about his makeup. He talks about his habits. He talks about doing the things from an organizational standpoint, running your own walkthroughs, running your own meetings. Those are the things that Patrick Mahomes does on a consistent basis. He's not saying that the other quarterbacks don't do it. He says the quarterback that does it the most consistently is Patrick Mahomes. And that is why if you look at their career, Patrick Mahomes been in the NFL for 8 years. If you look at Tom Brady's first 8 years, Tom Brady had 4 Super Bowl appearances. Patrick Mahomes has 5. Now, they both have 3 Super Bowls in those first 8. So if you do the math, Patrick Mahomes still has so much good football left to be played. We had a segment a few weeks ago about, do we think that dynasty is over? Is it done? Referring to the Kansas City Chiefs. Let this be an example that there's so much more left for them. As long as Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback and Andy Reid is the head coach, I think it's a big deal, because to hear that from one of the greats, to talk about a modern-day great, it bodes well for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Enormous deal, a huge deal. Seen them all, played against a lot of Hall of Famers. You know a Hall of Fame quarterback, or a great one when you see it. That game in the Coliseum when Jared Goff did battle with Mahomes, and watching Mahomes live for the first time, I thought, it dawned on me, this is the only guy I think that could touch Tom Brady's legacy. Now, he's got the tools. The guy is a scramble perfect quarterback, and he could be letter perfect without a rush. Like you said, he's got the start. He's got the championships early, because if you are going to touch Tom Brady's legacy, you're going to have to play into an old age. So you're going to have a lot of success early and then sustain that for a long period of time. I think he is capable of doing that. So I think it's huge. If Tom Brady is saying, I like the way you prepare, that's something that you tell your mom. Tom Brady thinks I prepare very well.
Right?
Because that's 90% of what he does. So if Mahomes is doing the right stuff when we can't see it, and he's doing the great stuff when we can, the only person that can come close to touching the GOAT would be Mahomes. So I think this is a huge deal.
I think it's a big deal, too. Same reason you guys do it. Any sound or video or text or anything of Brady talking about Mahomes and Mahomes talking about Brady could be looked at as history for years to come. It's going to be the things that comprise NFL film specials and documentaries and things like that if Mahomes continues to trend the way he's going. Now, when I heard this, I said, Brady doesn't remind me of Mahomes at all, or vice versa, just totally different playing styles, and Mahomes is doing the no-look passes, and he looks different physically, and he's different size. Like, just physically throwing the ball, I would have said Brady is a Joe Burrow, but stick with Mahomes. Mahomes continues to track this way as a career, continues to make Super Bowls constantly like this. There's going to be an historical GOAT comparison to have. You thought Brady put this thing away by playing in 10 Super Bowls and winning 7. Well, Mahomes has already played in 5 and won 3. So you get 5-6 years down the line, you look back on this interview with Joel Klatt where Brady said he reminds me of me. It's the kind of thing that we put in a vault somewhere and look back on and show our grandkids. I'll just say it has to continue tracking this way. I've always thought the one big disadvantage that Mahomes might have in chasing Brady is Brady had the luxury of having one head coach for the entire time, save for when he went to Tampa. He had a couple decades of Bill Belichick. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to play his entire Chiefs run with Andy Reid. Does Andy Reid have another decade with him as a head coach of the Chiefs? Maybe, but I don't know. That's a big, big luxury that Brady had. And listen, save this soundbite. This could be the debate topic in 12 years when Mahomes decides to retire and they both ended up going to 10 Super Bowls. Who's better? It's all history. It's significant, and I love that Brady did it.
I think he might, like Matthew Stafford, I think of this era, Patrick Mahomes may be the only quarterback playing in like close to 40.
Yeah.
With the other styles, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, those guys, how long of a career can you have? I think Mahomes will be there into his 40s. That's why I think he has a shot at it.
The interview, Kim Heyward would not say no when asked if he was willing to miss regular season games over this contract dispute. So, gentlemen at the table, what are our collective thoughts on Cam Heyward holding in and pushing this thing maybe as far as into the regular season, Kyle?
Tough. Good guy, good player, friend of the show. You try to, out of respect for Cam, to be like, where is he going with this? And I'm not a sports agent, but if you wanted the All-Pro thing, wouldn't you put that in the contract? Like, so you signed a deal, Cam, and then you made a remark that they laughed at and you're using for motivation. Am I following the story right? Well, the Steelers are probably like, well, yeah, we were thrilled, but we just gave you a new deal and we got other guys to worry about. It's a tough, weird thing. They just paid T.J. Watt all this money. They're trying to go into this season. We look at him as a stalwart. I don't know. I'm very much in my feelings about this because I like Cam a lot. I don't like the story and I don't like the timing. It's kind of like Cam knows that he's on the back nine and he doesn't have that many seasons left. So maybe he's just saying, screw it. Let's just go for it anyway and just get every penny I can because I know I'm not going to be here forever, which I respect. But it's hard to imagine the Steelers being like, well, you're right. Let's renegotiate again after last year. I just don't think that's typically how it works.
You know, I hate holdouts. I really do. I hate when guys like Cam Heyward have to politic to get the contract they deserve. Yeah, he's the 22nd paid defensive tackle in the league or defensive player in the league, defensive lineman. He's not that. He's top 10, top 5, and depending on who you have, it could be your number one threat on game day. But I will say this. Holdouts, I think, are destructive. They're distracting, but this is the best of all possible worlds because he's there. You can tell he wants to be there. He's putting pressure on the team by being there. It also sends the right message to the other teammates. Like, I understand what you're doing. It's business, but you are here with us. There's sweat coming off your brow just like me. So I wish you could avoid things like this, but unfortunately with Dallas and Micah Parsons and now with Cam Heyward, guys outperform the deals. They want new deals. And I'm with you, Kyle. I wish you could put it in the deal, but there's no guarantee you make it. So it's one of those weird things. Does he deserve the money? Absolutely. Is he going to get it? I don't know. Will he miss games? I hope not, because he's one of the best players in the league right now.
Well, guys, I think we learned something this offseason, and we learned it from this situation. We learned it from Jerry Jones. Guys, get it on paper. Get it on paper. The verbal stuff, it doesn't. That stuff doesn't work anymore, okay? So I love Cam Heyward, and I said this on the show last week when we talked about who is the person outside of Aaron Jones that is most important to the success of the Steelers. I mentioned that it's Cam Heyward, and you know this, DeMarco. Like, you can't have a T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith production if you don't have somebody on the interior of that D-line pushing the middle of that O-line back. Like, those guys that we hear about all the time on TV, we see the player of the years for T.J. Watt. You don't have those numbers if you don't have the trust that big number 97 is going to push that interior back so that you can go around the tackles, so that you can go underneath the tackles and do all of those things. So I think it's unfortunate. I think they do get the job done. I didn't know, 22nd?
I know.
That is insane.
Low.
Manti just did one of these where, like, the sound started early, and he goes, Jay, 22nd? You balked at that.
That's just insane to me. But again, guys, get it all on paper, okay? Like, we can't just have verbals anymore. It's get it all on paper, and I think that if you look on paper, Cam Heyward is the guy in the middle for the Steelers.
Get it all on paper. Bears offensive coordinator Declan Doyle, honestly, maybe a top 5 favorite name for me in the NFL right now. Declan Doyle knows what his second-year quarterback Caleb Williams needs, and it's to take his game to the next level.
I think that reps. Like, we have done a really good job of, utilizing a lot of walkthrough time where, we're simulating in the afternoon. We're going through 45 reps plus blitz pickup, which might be 24 more reps. But the quarterback having to go through, call the play, come up to the line of scrimmage, and go through his operation. And my answer to that is there's no shortcuts. There's no way to, hey, make it easy. You have to really go through that process.
Declan Doyle, Kyle, I'm sure you can speak to this as a Bears fan. Just a crazy rise in the coaching ranks. He started his career as a coach in 2019 in New Orleans. Now he is an offensive coordinator speaking about how to get Caleb Williams to a place where he is elite, where he is fulfilling the prophecy that many Bears fans have put forth. Kyle, first of all, your thoughts on Declan Doyle as a human, but also Caleb Williams needs the reps, but he did play against the Dolphins. Does this make you hesitant about how the Bears are approaching this?
Well, Declan Doyle sounds like a long stick midi lax bro, and I completely salute. I like the name. I like how smart he is. He's young. He's up and coming. He's like Ben Johnson. And Ben Johnson's going to run the show on offense. We know that. That's why they got hired. But Declan Doyle's a guy behind him who is maybe like a coach in waiting and bigger things coming, hopefully. It's first Caleb playing in the preseason. there's a cool story that a lot of Bears fans know about, and not everybody does. So they have the joint practices with the Dolphins. Caleb gets a bunch of work against the Dolphins defense. Then on Sunday morning, and this is the day of the preseason game against the Dolphins in which Caleb did not play, Ben Johnson goes out on the field with Caleb, with the 3 wide receivers, with Cole Kmet and DeAndre Swift, and they had a practice session of 70 plays. They ran 70 plays, that core group of offensive players. That's the kind of reps he's getting. He's getting practice reps. He's getting on the field reps. He's getting a ton of reps. My bottom line with this, to any Bears fan, anybody associated with the Bears, trust Ben Johnson and what he's doing. For years, maybe even decades, there's been whining about we need to get this coach and we got to get this coach. And Ben Johnson was the kind of coach the Bears were just never going to get. It was a surprise. It was a lightning bolt when they got him. So you got the guy you want. You got the kind of guy you want. Don't tell me in the second week of August now, after you finally get him, that you're saying like, yeah, I don't know about this Ben Johnson. Why isn't he playing Caleb in the preseason? Shut your mouth. Be quiet. Be patient. This is the mad genius that you wanted. You got him. Now let him do his mad genius thing. And if that includes keeping Caleb on the sideline, fine. He knows more than us about Caleb and the offense. And if you want to look into it, in the 3 years he spent with Jared Goff in the Lions, Jared Goff spent very little time in the preseason. I think in 3 years he played 1 series in all the preseason games combined. Jared Goff played incredible football. Trust Ben Johnson. You wanted him, you got him. Now don't start complaining about him. Let's all believe that he knows what the hell he's doing and let him do it.
Kyle, I was thinking Bond villain, Declan Doyle. Bond villain.
Bond villain, Declan Doyle.
Yeah, that guy.
Hairless
John
cat.
McClane, go save it.
With an eyebrow.
I was skeptical. I mean, look, Manta, you played in Chicago. You know, it's tough to throw the ball up there. Name a quarterback, a Chicago Bear quarterback outside of Jim McMahon, right, that's had success. It's been tough for a long time. But I would say anybody who can come closest to doing it, I think Caleb Williams can. And I believe in Ben Johnson. I believe in his coaching. So we'll see if that's actually going to work. But throwing the ball around the yard in Chicago when it gets cold outside, that's going to be tough. I mean, I think Chicago is based off running the football and playing good, tight defense. But if any quarterback can break that streak, I think Caleb Williams has the style and the ability to do so. I just haven't seen it done yet. But if anybody can get this guy to his potential, it would be Ben Johnson. Now, Declan Doyle, I'll work on. But I know Ben Johnson and what he can do.
Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit, guys. I'm struggling because I had a whole take on this thing, and then Brother KB goes on this thing and says, if you think that he should have played in the preseason game, shut your mouth. So I'm struggling this morning to even get my take out there.
Not you. Manta, you say whatever you want.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for the green light, because this is how I see it. Because KB, you brought up something I didn't know.
When Kyle goes on things like that, just take your earpiece out and then be able to go.
Yeah. And then I got to just be ready to get back in and put my gloves in the game. So the gloves are coming on. KB said that they ran 70 plays before the game. And you know this, DeMarco. You could run 70 plays all you want to. Seven game plays are way more productive than 70 or 700 plays against nobody, where you're running just on air. I don't know if they had the defense out there or whatever, but it still doesn't equate to what it looks like and feels like and what it tastes like when you're going against somebody else in a game situation. So I am on full board with Declan Doyle. Reps. You had a great opportunity to get those reps against another. I know you went in practice, but it's different. I've been there. We've had practices where we practice against another team. When you suit up for the game, it's a totally different environment. So I just thought, and I hope that they would play some of the starters this past weekend against the Dolphins.
Has lived on for Josh McDaniels. It sounds like McDaniels is at least open to the possibility of inertia, of utilizing the tush push into Drake May's arsenal of plays this season. McDaniels considering running it with Drake May, the tush push. How does that make you feel, DeMarco?
It's weird. You have to be touchy when talking about the tush push, because if you say you want it outlawed, that means you're afraid of it. If you like it, that means you don't think the game is being officiated properly. I would just say this. Just make sure it is officiated and you're doing it right. You can't assist a guy. You can't put two hands on a guy's back and push him through the line of scrimmage. Just make sure you get that part right. But other than that, it's just a short yardage play. Yeah. It's just trying to pick up the first down. It's nothing we haven't gone through in our lives at some point. So the Eagles made it famous. They gave it a name, and now it's cause celeb. But look, I think every team at some point is going to need this or have to use this to win a football game or to salt one away. So It's just one of those things. If you voted against it, it looks like you're a coward, you're afraid of it. If you voted in favor of it, then you want to use it to win football games just like the Eagles. So it's just one of those weird things.
I love this. I love this. The only thing I don't like is that we're not going to see it this year. They don't play each other. I wish that they played each other. Maybe they'll play in the Super Bowl. I don't know. That's the only time that they actually play each other. But I wish there was just a battle of the tush push, guys. It's like watching WWE and the opponent uses his finishing move on the other guy. Like, it's watching Chris Jericho use the rock bottom on the Rock. Like, I still can't stand you, Chris Jericho, for that. Like, you broke my heart when you did the rock bottom on the Rock. Like, that's what I wish. It would have been so entertaining to watch the Patriots run the tush push, and then the next series, the Eagles run a tush push, and it just keep going back and forth, back and forth. So I love it, KB. I wish we would have been able to see it this year.
Just another short yardage play. This is the tush push. Just another short yardage play. It's like saying Sidney Sweeney's just another blue jean salesman. It's a completely different thing, guys. It's not even close. This thing has a name. It almost started World War III between the NFL. It survived. It lived. It's rock and roll. And I'll tell you what, man, they can't use it against Philly, but they could use it twice against Buffalo. Buffalo does that sucker all the time. And I like the Patriots thinking about doing it for a bunch of different reasons. First of all, it will work. It almost always works. Their quarterback is significantly bigger than Jalen Hurts. It will probably work even better if they can get it down. Plus, I like more teams doing it. I like the fact that more teams are like, if they're going to let those two teams do it, we're going to do it. One of the reasons that there was people were voting against the ban is because it felt like there would be unnecessarily punitive to just a couple of teams who have perfected it. Those couple of teams, Philadelphia and Buffalo, and that wasn't looked at as fair just because they do it well. So all's fair now, guys. It's there. If you have a big, strong quarterback and an offensive line, do it. Because it may be banned next year. This may be the last year for the tush push. I want all the teams to do it. I question the teams that don't do it. You're down on the goal line, and you have basically an unstoppable play if you have the right personnel, and you're still turning around and handing it to your running back. What is this, 2015? Like, we're in the modern times now. Do it while they still let you do it.
Speaking of, Kyle, it reminds me of 2015. I was just getting started on the SEC, and we're sitting in all these Nick Saban production meetings with Alabama, and that was really in the onslaught of the RPO in the college game. And Saban's like,
sure,
it's like football purists didn't like it in the college game. And essentially it was like, is everyone going to mess around and try to run the RPO? Saban finally adopted it, and then he just kept beating everybody. So it's like, if you're going to allow it into the game, and then you're going to allow Alabama to do it or Saban to run it, then you have to accept the fact that when everyone is going to find success with it. So be careful what you wish for. That's the category that you're in when it comes to the tush push. All right. There's nothing more gratifying than just flipping the coin perfectly, okay? We're flipping out. Someone had a coin in their pocket. It was a couple of asks worth, but we came through as a studio crew, so thank you. We're playing Flippin' Out, okay? We got two topics, and the coin never just lands on its side. Kyle, DeMarco, Manta, you have to pick the side. I'm going to tee up two topics. I'm going to tee up a topic and two options.
Okay.
There's no wishy-washy here.
Okay.
You pick an option, you stand by it, you make your case, and then your opponent has to defend the other side of the coin.
Oh, boy.
No matter what, okay?
No problem.
Kyle and DeMarco, you will be
Sure.
teed up twice, and Manta and I going up against each other,
Oh,
right?
boy. Here we go.
All right, Kyle and DeMarco, you're first. Who do you want to see start sooner in the regular season? Who do you want to see start sooner? Jackson Dart or Shedeur Sanders? The coin will flip.
Okay.
They will tell us who gets to go first and pick their topic, pick their answer, and then defend the stance. Okay, KB, who do you got?
Okay, KB.
All right, give me my 30 seconds. I just wish you gave me a question that was actually challenging. The answer here is obviously Jackson Dart. We should just call him Jackson Start at this point. Like, that's his new nickname. This is a first-round pick. We're talking about a first versus a fifth. Due respect to Shedeur against the Panthers' backups. It's Jackson Dart. There are exactly 0 New York Giants fans who are doing backflips about Russell Wilson starting this season. It's not his fault. He's on his 4th team in 5 years or something crazy like that. It is a first-round pick and a coach who needs to win now. Let's start the future. It's Jackson Start.
I would say hold the phone. I think Russell Wilson has earned the right to at least start in New York, at least once. 10-time Pro Bowler. He's a Super Bowl champion.
No, you got to defend Shedeur now.
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, good. Okay.
So I would keep Jackson Dart
10 seconds
on
in.
the bench in favor of Russell Wilson, and I would start Shedeur Sanders because of the opposite of Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is a guy that's 40. He's He's on the back nine, to use your words earlier in the show. You might as well get the future started now. And I think the best quarterback on that roster right now is Shedeur Sanders. So you might as well get it started with him.
What am I doing? DeMarco's a pro. He eats time on the previous topic before he answers his own. Come on, Jamie. He knows what he's doing.
Jamie, lock in. It's me and you. It's our turn.
All right. Wow. Here we go.
Let's go.
This man can taste football. Now, Manta and I are going to go. Who's the more important character in the NFC North? More important character. Is it J.J. McCarthy or is it Caleb Williams? Flip the coin. Show one of our faces.
Come on.
We need to get you a new headshot.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Jamie Erdl.
I'm going to play the Kyle Brandt game. I'm going to say Caleb Williams is more important in the NFC North for this. Okay, good. Start the clock. 30 seconds. Have you heard that there is a record that has never been broken in Chicago and how desperation breeds a really dangerous type of character, which is you will do anything to produce this, which is the 4,000-yard passer. I constantly am asking Bears fans, would you seriously rather have a 4,000-yard passer and settle for 6 wins or 7 wins just to say you have a guy? There's so much pressure on Caleb Williams. There are some people that say yes to that, Kyle, which is amazing to me. Caleb Williams and the pressure and the marquee of the Bears' expectations this season, he is a much more important character in the NFC North. Okay.
Damn. You was trying to get extra credit on that one. I'll give you some extra credit. Start my clock. Okay, you got extra talent over there in Minnesota, okay? You have Justin Jefferson, okay? You got an extra receiver in Jordan Addison. Now, he's not going to be there for 3 weeks. But you got Aaron Jones, you got TJ Hawkinson, and you got that Brian Flores defense that's one of the best defenses at applying pressure. The only different factor this year to last year is the quarterback. Kevin O'Connell is a Sean McVay coaching tree recipient or whatever you want to talk. That's him. Pair all of those guys up. That's why J.J. McCarthy is the most important guy in NFC North.
Okay.
James, I thought you was going to go Minnesota.
That's the whole point.
I wanted to go first.
No, exactly. That's the whole point.
Curveball, baby. That's right.
Kyle, you've taught me well. Kyle and DeMarco, you're up next. Travis Hunter played both sides of the ball. Have you heard? But should he continue to play on both sides, or should he stick to one and excel at it? Flip the coin. Take your stance. Please, I hope it's DeMarco first. And then flip it on. Okay, Kyle, go ahead.
2 coin tosses in a row, 2 wins in a row. Start the clock. Of course he should play both sides of the ball. It's just like all the parents are saying in youth sports right now, DeMarco. You got to avoid specialization. You got to spread yourself out and do different things. Corner, wide receiver. I want him to do even more. I want Travis Hunter to return kickoffs. I want him to kick kickoffs. All of the things that the Jaguars did to get him, you didn't do it for just one side of the ball. And you might say, have him play corner. They can draft a wide receiver in the first round next year. No, they can't. They spent that pick, and they spent it so he plays both sides of the ball to double threats. That's my man, both sides. Go ahead, DeMarco.
All right, start the clock. Can he? Sure. Should he? No. And I'll present this. That's a lot of meetings, Kyle. You got to go through offense, defense, and special teams. From the time he walks in, you got 3 people in your ear. And consider this, like Deion in Colorado, if he's doing everything for entire games, you're going to have to give him time off. How do you think that plays in the locker room, especially if you're not winning? That's tough on Liam Cohen. So I'm sure he can do it. But should you do it, I would think about it.
You have an excellent finger point, and should he do it? It really makes you question yourself. All right, flipping out, last round. You ready, Mr. Finger
Are you ready?
No. For this last one, here are some fun moments from the first week of the preseason. Take a look. Take a listen.
Hello. This is how we do. Come on, Theo. Football. It was a great throw, whoever said that. See, people don't really know about that Michael Jackson. On the ball! Oh my gosh! You're now rocking with the best. You signing autographs before practice? Yeah. Such a freaking mayor. Border, take over! Y'all faith is gonna determine me hitting this.
All right, we got it. Flip the coin.
Justin Herbert and Jameis Winston. Who would you rather have mic'd up all season long?
What are we doing?
This is rigged, guys.
Okay. Justin Herbert, I need you to be mic'd up all season long because in the magic of television production and editing, somehow we just were able to make you sound as exciting and as interesting as Jameis Winston. And that is not a knock on your personality. It's the fact that you're kind of sneaky like that, where you know when you're mic'd up. And if you really went back and listened to that clip, all you heard Herbert say was, hello, football, take cover, and some sound effects like pew pew. I actually need to hear him say more things. I need to discover Justin Herbert's personality, and I need it to be in a regular season-long mic'd up scenario. Manti.
Wow. Okay. Obviously, Jameis Winston is one of the most entertaining figures besides a football player. Whenever he has a mic, you need to be locked in. And the reason why he should be mic'd up besides Justin Herbert is because the only reason why you want to listen to Justin Herbert mic'd up is because you want to listen to Jim Harbaugh. Because Jim Harbaugh is going to be next to him. Because Jim Harbaugh is going to say something that's creative. That's something that's going to be on a tabloid. So I want to listen to Jameis Winston because he's going to give me some gospel. He's going to give me some energy. He's going to give me something to laugh at. So I got Jameis.
You got one?
Mic'd up? Jameis all day, every day.
I think Manti's got it. Jamie, your argument for Justin Herbert wanting to be mic'd up is that the mic'd up package we just heard of him wasn't good and he didn't say anything. That's a tough one. it's a tough angle to go with. I would go with Jameis. Jameis has Charles Barkley potential.
Yeah, decided something officially. Wide receiver is my favorite position in football. It is. Pass catchers, because it goes across a ton of groups. It's wide receivers, tight ends, occasionally a running back. It's fantastic. And in this time of year, you are drafting for your fantasy team. You are trying to make sure you know the 2 deep, the 3 deep, the 4 deep. You want to know your team inside and out. So did you catch that is a segment that I'm going to do throughout preseason on guys that not only did they catch that, which in the preseason you better be catching it to make the team, but also it's their names. It's guys that you might not know. So when you hear it on the broadcast, you can tell your buddy, yeah, I know that name because Jamie said it on Did You Catch That? All right, starting off with a guy in Philadelphia who, after preseason week 1, Darius Cooper had to stand up in front of the local Philadelphia media and introduce himself because no one had really done the media scrum at his locker just yet. So Darius Cooper is from the suburbs of St. Louis, Missouri. He gets lightly recruited to Tarleton State, the Texans. At Tarleton State, he averaged 20 yards per catch. He goes undrafted to the Philadelphia Eagles this offseason. And in the preseason week 1 game, he led all Eagles pass catchers with 6 catches on 7 targets, 82 yards, and this touchdown.
2nd down and 1. McKee over the top. Got it. Touchdown. Darius Cooper. A 20-yard laser from Tanner McKee, who's got him in the end zone again. He's having fun tonight.
I'm having fun tonight watching him. And Darius Cooper from Tarleton State. The guy had over 1,400 yards, 16 touchdowns, almost 20 yards per catch. He's making and stating his case to be a part of this football team.
Yep, Tarleton State, the Texans. The only active NFL player that is playing snaps in the regular season from Tarleton State right now is the linebacker E.J. Speed, who actually plays for the Texans. So Tarleton State, you might have another guy putting your school on the map. Now, Tarleton State is of the FCS, and he was a first-team All-American as a wide receiver. There were 3 last season. The other one is Efton Chisholm III out of New England, the Patriots wide receiver. No, that is not Wes Welker, who would be another qualifier for a great undrafted wide receiver. This is Efton Chisholm III, 5'10", nearly 200 pounds. He is unmissable at practice. However, he was missed in the draft. Like I said, undrafted out of Eastern Washington. He currently holds an FCS record out of Eastern Washington because in all 53 games he played in college, he caught a pass, 53 games straight. In the preseason game week 1 for the Patriots against the Commanders, Efton Chisholm III, I like to say the whole thing, had 6 catches on 8 targets, good for a touchdown, and 50 yards receiving. His wide receiver coach, Todd Downing, said, Chisholm is an absolute joy to work with. His work ethic is second to none. He's got to fight for all of his opportunities, then make the most of them. So as we mentioned, Darius Cooper and Efton Chisholm, 2 of the 3 FCS wide receiver All-Americans from last season. That's number 2 on the list. Number 3. You ever show up at a job interview and you're like, I want this job so badly, I will wear the company's shirt to the interview. It's like if someone wanted to be Kyle Brandt's assistant and he wears an Angry Run shirt that he made at home to get the job. That is what Isaac TeSlaa did when he showed up for his Detroit Lions interview. This is Isaac TeSlaa. He grew up in Michigan, and he has been a lifelong Lions fan to the point when he came to his interview out of Arkansas, he showed up in a homemade TeSlaa jersey. This is like the Ring camera version in the Lions facility. And there is TeSlaa wearing a number 10 made. Dan Campbell actually said this was kind of odd and intense and maybe a little overeager. But apparently it worked because he went in the 3rd round to the Detroit Lions. He started out at Hillsdale College, the Chargers, before transferring to Arkansas. Hillsdale, of course, is in Division II in Hillsdale, Michigan, so he did not stray far from home. Like I said, a lifelong Lions fan. And now, after making his homemade jersey, he is making an impression on training camp and his head coach.
I thought he did well. I thought he played better than he did the first week. And I would say ever since we put pads on, he's been trending this way, So that's a good sign, is that you're getting better with pads on than the pajamas. So that was awesome.
Dan Campbell's all about when you put the pads on. Now, TeSlaa at his high school in Michigan was a long jump record holder. So that's going to bode well if you're a wide receiver or a pass catcher, and a good thing for Jared Goff to have in this Lions offense. Number 4, let's check in elsewhere in the NFC North. This is Jahdae Walker, an undrafted free agent out of Texas A&M, but he actually started his college career at Division II Grand Valley State. In the first week of the preseason for the Chicago Bears, he led the Bears offense with 3 catches, 41 yards, and a touchdown from Case Keenum. Now, here's a listen to the touchdown, but specifically pay attention to the celebration potential.
Fade route, Walker! It is touchdown for Chicago! And the Bears have the lead again! The little floating fade pass for the rookie out of Texas A&M by way of Grand Valley State. What a play, what a throw, what a catch.
Now, you might want this guy to make the team just because his professionalism on the Juby slide. That is a TikTok dance that is everywhere now, a viral sensation. This is not the first time Jahdae Walker has hit the Juby slide. It's kind of like a sideways moonwalk, if you want to translate it. He did it in an intro video for Texas A&M. He did it, I think, when he signed with the Bears, and now he's doing it catching touchdowns in the preseason for the Bears. So if you like touchdown celebrations, let's hope Jahdae Walker makes a 53-man roster. Lastly, Manti Te'o and I got to go to Chargers training camp for Back Together weekend. We're watching Trey Lance, we're watching Justin Herbert, and there was an undrafted free agent wide receiver at camp, Dale Von Campbell, or D-Camp, if you will. And this is one of these players. He is massive. Check it, 6'4", 220 pounds, going up and getting balls from these quarterbacks for the Chargers. He is your classic 3-stop college player. He went from Illinois to Nevada to South Carolina before finding his home in Los Angeles. Now, not only can this guy move at 6'4", 220, he was a part of a relay team in Texas. He went to high school in Texas, on the 4x200 crew that won a Texas state title in the 4x200. 6'4", 220, won a relay for the 4x200. I think that's fast. I think that's big, and I think that's really good for a wide receiver. Dale Von Campbell, everybody, in his game against the Saints, he had 3 catches, 62 yards, and he's a good, nice big target for Justin Herbert and this Chargers offense. There it is. Did you catch that? Like I said, it's not just the ball, it's the names, it's guys. Maybe they're late-round flyers on your fantasy team, but it's fun to go to the undrafted guys, the late-round guys, and see where they're at. Kyle Brandt.
Great job, Jamie.
Thank you.
Yes.
That was great, Jamie. I have all kinds of reactions. I think it's fascinating with the Lions that Detroit, with their automotive history, has a guy named TeSlaa coming in now as a fully electric vehicle. But I like the story of him wearing his own jersey. There's a legendary story in Hollywood of like 25 years ago when they were casting the original Tobey Maguire Superman, that Freddie Prinze Jr. walked into the casting offices in a full Spider-Man costume to try to impress them, be like, I can play this role. Didn't work out for Freddie. They went with Tobey Maguire, but I like that TeSlaa had that in him. The other guy, this is, especially you guys at the table as ex-players will relate to this. Darius Cooper, right, out of Tarleton State.
Yep.
Can we see Darius Cooper? Because I think it is so funny that he's this wide receiver wearing 41 in training camp. That is unheard of. There's never been a wide receiver number 41. It is this random number they give you when you're the guy from Tarleton State and you got to go out there and just make it look good. I looked it up. At Tarleton State, he wore number 6. 6 is a number for modern times that works for wide receiver. I can't think of a wide receiver ever. You'd have to go back to black and white when they wear 41. But it's like he's making it look good. I'm going to rock this 41, one of the worst numbers in NFL history or sports history outside of Dirk Nowitzki, and I'm going to make it look good. And I respect that, Darius Cooper.
It's so perfect, Kyle. And he's the number 41 when he catches a touchdown like that. It's like you have to justify the 41 and be like, well, he is out of Tarleton State. Like you have to, it's like, it's okay that he's
41?
wearing.
Well, James, that was awesome.
Thank you.
I looked up the name FTN Chisholm. So FTN.
The third.
It comes from Old English language, and it means settlement by the river. And when I think about settlement by the river, or a house or a cottage by the river, I think of like smoke coming out the chimney. And what I've seen from FTN Chisholm, he ain't afraid of no smoke now. He also ain't afraid to be on no island with whatever DB you put out there. So I thought that was brilliant. I do like FTN Chisholm. There's something about like the Patriots and these receivers that have these names, Wes Welker. FTN Chisholm, it kind of lines up perfectly with them.
Yep.
I'd keep the 41. I would try to make that hot. And the 38.
Nice.
I'd try to make it come back to where I went to school. Who was the second guy again?
It was Efton Chisholm, wasn't it? Darius
Is that
Cooper,
the guy or Ellsworth or something? That's make you want to put your pinky out when you drink. You know, that's one of those highfalutin names.
And careful, Kyle. It's not TeSlaa. It's TeSlaa.
TeSlaa.
Like throw a
like coleslaw.
Like coleslaw.
Yes. Your favorite
TeSlaa
baby.
sounds like a cheap version of a TeSlaa that you get on a knockoff market. It's fine, it's great. I get it.
TeSlaa.
All right. Did you catch that on GMF?
Great job,
Look
James.
for those guys.
We're about to give you some answers. What you were looking at right there is the 2025 FTN Football Almanac. It is out right now, FTN for the numbers. And the sort of Gandalf, the all-knowing wizard of all of this, of that almanac, and of all the questions you want answers to, is our guy, Aaron Schatz from FTN, works from ESPN. He makes a living, and dare I say a life, digging into analytics and studies and details. And there he is. Aaron, we are so excited to talk to you. How's life? How are you feeling about the season? Are you ready?
What's up, Schatz?
I'm good. Good. Made it through another off season. I'm ready for the season. First week of preseason was fun. Life is good in beautiful Massachusetts, and I'm pretty happy.
Great.
Well, Massachusetts has an up-and-coming team in the AFC East. We'll see how they fare. But before then, Aaron Schatz, let's get into it right off the bat. Your top 5 teams this season, I want you to break it down and tell me how you landed on this and what this means. Go ahead.
Yeah, DVOA is the main metric we use, and I project it based on how teams have played over the last couple years in certain situations, personnel changes, coaching experience, a few other variables. And these are my top 5 projected teams for 2025. Ravens, Lions, Bills, Chiefs, and Commanders.
All right, so if anybody at home doesn't know this, and how dare you if you don't, DVOA is defense adjusted value over average, and I know that because Aaron told me during commercial, but here's something that jumps out. Anybody who can cut through the vernacular and the details can see a list of top 5 teams under any circumstance going into the season, and they're going to be screaming that the reigning Super Bowl champion, very dominant Philadelphia Eagles are not on there. Why, Aaron?
Because they were very dominant on defense, and we talk about this a lot every year. Offense is more predictable and more consistent than defense. Defense regresses to the mean more heavily. The Eagles were only 13th on offense during the regular season. They were awesome in the Super Bowl, but that's just one game. It was the defense that drove that team. Fantastic defense. And especially with the personnel changes that they had, it's very likely that that defense comes back to the pack a little bit and is more like 4th or 5th rather than number 1 by a large margin.
That sounds like an insult that I'm going to use that I don't even know what it means, but it feels good. Your defense regresses to the mean more commonly. Like, that's just, it's awesome, Schatz. We appreciate it. You've got the Ravens as the top team. How does that happen for a team that we are just waiting to get to a Super Bowl appearance, waiting to get deep into the playoffs? Somehow they're your number 1 team. How did they edge out the competition?
Well, part of it is that we're just projecting the regular season here, but they've been our number one team in the regular season for 2 straight years. They're very good and very balanced. Top 5 team in all 3 phases of the game. Lamar Jackson had one of the best passing seasons in NFL history last year. Not even with his rushing, just talking about his drop back passing. So our numbers love the Ravens, and one of these years they're going to get over the hump. The problem is that one of these years, the Bills are also going to get over the hump, and they can't do it at the same time.
Shots, my life changed today. I didn't think you'd be able to complete a top 5 list that didn't have the Eagles in it.
Yeah.
And if they don't, you have the Commanders in it without the Eagles. How do you have that in a top 5?
Yeah, I was really surprised when our numbers came out with the Commanders so high because they were so good on 4th downs last year, and that is not going to continue. But we really like some of the changes they made. They took their biggest weakness and worked on it by adding Laramie Tunsil. We like adding Deebo Samuel. And we think that the Washington defense can be slightly below average instead of bad like it was last year. Also, I want to point out the difference in schedule where Philadelphia has to play the Bills, the Rams, and the Buccaneers, while the Commanders play the Dolphins, the Seahawks, and the Falcons. That is a big difference in the NFC East.
Shots. Okay, so you had a top 5, so that means there's 27 other teams left. What team out of those 27 won't live up to the hype this year?
We are not that high this year on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Don't really like what Aaron Rodgers did in New York last year. We don't think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league anymore. Their defense was 4th in the league in takeaways per drive. That is something that does regress to the mean pretty heavily, so we think their defense is going to decline a little bit. Now, I may be wrong about this because Mike Tomlin has magical locker room management powers, and we may not be incorporating that into our projections. But overall, we're just not as high on the Steelers as the public.
All right, so Shots, this is as people say, the whole enchilada. The reason why
here we go.
We bring you on here. February 8th in Santa Clara, Super Bowl 60 is being played. Shots, we rely on this to influence us in our prediction week. The public relies on you to make your ever-educated Super Bowl pick. Who do you have playing in Super Bowl 60?
I'm hoping this is not just wish fulfillment because I would love to see these 2 fan bases get there, but I'm going with the Bills and the Lions as my Super Bowl.
All right.
Okay.
I love this matchup.
Ooh, Kyle, that was your pick last year, I remember.
The Ravens are a little bit better than the Bills, but the Bills have the easier schedule, especially that game with the Ravens that's in Buffalo that's going to be so important for home field in the AFC. And I think that the Lions are going to overcome the loss of the 2 coordinators with better health on defense.
All right, Shots. I know that my sister Jamie just said February 8th is a very, very important day. But another important day is August 27th and August 28th.
Yeah,
I got a fantasy football draft with a couple of my buddies. Now, you're the expert. There's Bijan Robinson, and Saquon Barkley as a top running back. Who do you consider out of those 2 the top running back for this year? I need your help.
Yeah, Jeff Radcliffe is an award-winning projections guy. He does all of our fantasy projections for FTN, and he likes Bijan Robinson over Saquon Barkley in most leagues. The big reason is receiving. Robinson has better receiving numbers, and a lot of leagues these days are either PPR or half PPR, so those receiving numbers really matter, and that's why we've got Bijan Robinson actually as the top running back this year.
I need a sneaky pick. I need help on my fantasy squad as well. Do you have a sleeper I should be looking at right now?
I really like Matthew Golden, the rookie wide receiver in Green Bay, because a lot of their receivers have trouble catching the ball, and he is what they're looking for, which is a clear number 1. I know that Green Bay doesn't want to give too much to a rookie right away, but I think he's going to really break out, especially over the second half of the season.
Write that down, use it, wield it. Shots knows his stuff. And just in case anyone thought you weren't quite interesting enough, you will not believe where Aaron goes next. Shots, you were a DJ in an alt-rock radio station in the 90s. Now, there's a thing going on right now in this country where 90s rock is massive, and it's dad rock, and there's these tours, and all these bands from 25, 30 years ago are massive again. But you played a critical part in the emergence of one of those bands. Please tell us about it.
So I was music director at WKRO in Daytona Beach, Florida, and the morning guys brought me a demo from a band from Tallahassee. And I said, this is not the kind of music I like at all, but it is going to be so popular. I could hear it right away how popular this was going to be. So we put it on the air, and it became our number 1 most requested band, and they were called Creed.
Oh.
And we helped them to Wind Up Records. So I am one of the people who was partly responsible for Creed becoming a big band in the United States.
All right, and we're looking at Stapp on Thanksgiving Day about 25 years ago in the Cowboys Stadium, just bringing the house down. But Shots, was the song, was it My Own Prison? What did you hear that you liked that much?
It was the demo of My Own Prison, and I'm totally not into that kind of grunge, but I was like, this is going to be huge. This is going to be huge. And we put it on. We were the second station to play it after the station in Tallahassee, and they worked that popularity in with Wind Up Records, and they got their record deal and then became a huge band across the country.
Wow.
God bless you. God bless you, Aaron Shots. Banging my head. Could have been Sunday. All right, awesome. I love it. You're the best. Everybody get the FTN Football Almanac. It is like Shots has taken all of football and created his own prison right there in this book. Get the book. Get the predictions. Head to ftnfantasy.com/almanac. It's the answer to all of your questions. I absolutely love it. Read this book with arms wide open.